Hello and welcome. In today's video, I want to show you this beautiful Panasonic PK 558 camera. If you have seen any of my previous videos, this will be familiar to you. But if is this your first time here, first of all, thank you. And if you clicked, it means you like this type of technology. Those are really old cameras from the 70s and 80s, and they deliver very nostalgic video. Sit back and enjoy a simple modification that will allow us to revive this old camera and use it as a modern one. Remember, I am not an expert, so if any professionals are watching this, my apologies. I also want to remind you that these cameras can be dangerous, so never touch the cathode ray tube. If you want to do something like this, please be very careful. First, a brief summary to generally explain what I'll be doing today. These cameras can record on tape and don't have a battery. They needed an external device for that, so let's fix it. As you can see in my very detailed diagram, the plan is to install an audio and video output to capture it on a very cheap external recorder. I will also install an input to connect a battery and power the camera. As an optional feature, we can also connect an external monitor. This is the mini DVR I will use. It has a video input to capture what comes from the camera and an output to use the monitor if we want. It is important to clarify that using this mini DVR requires making custom cables because the way it is configured is not the standard used by cameras. It's not difficult, but it's important to know before you buy it. For me, it's a great option to go tapeless since it has a rechargeable battery and records directly onto an SD card. Plus, as I mentioned, it has the option to use a monitor. Of course, it has its downsides. If you want me to do a detailed review video, let me know in the comments. I will use a 3.5mm 4-pole connector to output the audio and video signal and a 2-pole connector to connect the battery. As you can see in the diagram I downloaded from the secret NASA files, it's easy to identify which wire to solder to each pole: ground, video, left audio and right audio. This configuration matches the standard video cables used by many VHS and high-end cameras from the 80s and 90s. And this is the simple 2-pole connector that many batteries use. In the diagram, you can see that the shorter pole is the positive and the longer is the negative. I love the viewfinder of this camera. That tiny CRT screen just looks great. But let's start with the math. The first thing I'll do is probably give many of you a heart attack. I'm really sorry, but I need to cut that cable to use my multimeter and identify the wires I need to solder. Red is power for the battery, brown is video, gray is audio, and the fair wire is ground. Now, we just need to follow the previous diagram to solder these wires to the connectors and find a space inside the camera to install them. Or at least, that's what I thought until I realized I needed to do an extra mod to this camera. When I first bought it, it didn't come with a microphone. I saw the connector and thought I could buy a cheap microphone and connect it, but then I found out the connector is not a 3.5mm, it is a 2.5mm instead. While I could find a microphone with that connector or just buy an adapter, I think that is not fun. So I decided to replace that connector with a 3.5mm one because I want to have the possibility to use any microphone. But let's go to work. First, we need to remove all the screws from the casing. As you can see, there are very few, so it's really simple. Now, carefully, we can remove the side panels and the rear buttons. We will also be able to access the front handle and easily disassemble it. Be very careful when handling this part and never ever touch the cathode ray tube located right in the center. It could be really dangerous. Alright, we'll start by replacing the microphone connector. I just need to pull this piece and the cable will come out. I was doing an incredible professional job trying to identify the wires using the multimeter until I found out that the connector itself says which wire is left audio, right audio, and ground. I'm not gonna lie, I felt a bit silly. I just desoldered the old connector and, using the same wires, I soldered the new connector in its place. Now, it's time to install it. However, the new connector is a bit larger than the original. First, I need to make the hole a bit bigger. I will use my trusty portable drill. Now it fits perfectly. I just need to secure it tightly with the nut. And done! The first mod on this camera is complete. How do I know it works correctly? I have no idea. I think I'll just take a leap of faith. I know what you're thinking. Don't worry, that ugly microphone is just for testing. It is time to solder the wires. Following the diagram, I'll start by soldering two ground wires, one from the battery connector and the other for the audio and video connector. After considering all the options, I think this space is the best for installing the video and audio connector, so I made a hole with my drill. And then another one for the battery connector. Now I have both connectors soldered to their respective wires. And when I thought I was about to finish, I decided to make this even more fun. I decided to install an on and off switch. It will be installed on the battery connector, and this way I will avoid having the camera always on when the battery is connected. It is completely optional, but I think it's very helpful. Let's test the switch. We connect the battery, turn on the switch, and great, it works. And this is how the connectors look now that they are in place. I won't lie, this was the hardest part of the mod, since there's not much room to maneuver, but I think it looks pretty good. What do you think? This is a beautiful camera with great ergonomics, and it's really fun to use. I love the viewfinder, which, although black and white, looks great. It has automatic focus, plus the zoom and the old reported style camera shape are just awesome. Of course, the video quality doesn't compare to current standards. I've been using this type of camera in my music videos for over a year now, and honestly, it's a look that can't be replicated. What do you think of that tiny and ultra cheap microphone? Nice, right? Not to mention those amazing stickers, or at least they are to me. I want to thank everyone who has left comments and emails with their support. It really means a lot to me. And I know some people are bothered by the way I speak. I apologize. I've been only living in the States for a short time and I'm still learning English. I hope to gradually improve my pronunciation. As for my tone of voice, there's not much I can do. That's just how I speak. But anyway, I appreciate all the feedback. This is a very small channel, and it surprises me how many people share the love of this type of cameras and past technology. So if you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know in the comments. Any interaction like commenting, sharing or subscribing, it's a great support to the channel. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.